Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Realm of Ori. In this video, we will continue with Volume 13, Chapter 4 Complete Victory, Part 2. And before we start, this video contains spoilers from the anime and manga series. And by the way guys, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get notifications for upcoming videos. So without further ado, let's get into the video. According to the report, it does not appear that magical creatures will appear in the stairwell. Although it's dangerous to take it as it is, they thought it was safer here than elsewhere, so they rested here. They had been admonished by the great general, Calgurio, and were ordered to enter the labyrinth. For that, they have no complaints. Just like Shinji and the rest of them, Michelle and others were otherworldly visitors, picked up by Master Gadra. And this Gadra's whereabouts are unknown. He seemed to be leading a special force on a mission to the demon lord Rimuru's territory. Although Gadra had come back once, none of the other team members returned. I heard that Gadra had reported to Yuki that all the people who had gone with him had died in battle. Then even Gadra disappeared. Rumors spread that he had gone to the rescue of his buddies from the previous unit. These men, who were said to have died in battle and to have traveled with Gadra, were also well known to Michelle. The three men were Shinji Tanimura, Mark Lauren, and Jen Lu Xing. They hired someone to transfer them from the Hybrid Legion to the Mecha Legion so they could carry out this battle plan. For there is such a story behind Michelle in them, and Calgurio's order is just what they want. Maybe it's a big mistake to go in there, probably. I didn't expect the enemy to be this strong. The two of them were divided into 59 levels. These two were unaware of it, Rimuru and the others had planned to get them directly to the 60th level in a single turn. It was for those reasons that Michelle was forced to come to the 59th floor to encounter a fierce battle. Both sides got serious and fought offensive and defensive battles, and those two exposed all of their best moves. Raymond is responsible for buying some time in the guard. Michelle uses this valuable time to unleash a must-kill strike. Just the two of them breaking through so many traps alone was very taxing. Just one day made Michelle tire them half to death. Inevitably this would happen. All that can be counted on is their strength. Want to go? Right. Now that it's all come down to this, we can only move forward. If it doesn't work out, people will forgive us. Will it? Shinji would have laughed, but he. Please stop. It's hard to forget. Yeah, sorry. He's even scarier than the maze. Hey, how can you speak your mind just because the other person can't hear you? But I also agree that that's it. Right? I really admire Shinji's retardation. People are so passionate about him, but they are completely ignored. I agree, but that's the way it's gonna be. About that, actually, he's also, just that. Also, thinking about it this way makes you think that Shinji isn't easy either. Maybe he'll survive if he doesn't do anything to save his life. Yeah, that's it. The two men began to walk down the steps. There was absolutely no telling who would be waiting for them ahead. Immediately following, hello, you, Michelle, and Raymond. There's something I'd like to discuss with you too. Right. Because this thing is really doing you guys a lot of good, it doesn't hurt to listen. You're supposed to be listening. Seeing the trio of Shinji and others who they wanted to save come out to greet themselves, Michelle and Raymond were surprised to the point of stiffness. Well, you guys seem surprised. I'd like to ask you too. Can you hear us out first? There was a nostalgic voice came behind them from. It must be right that the owner of the voice was the one who had been kind to Michelle and them, Gadra. You're still alive? Shall we say, what's going on? Gadra and the others are going to start docking to convince each other. The two were in turmoil, and it only took a little more time to convince them. It looked like Gadra had them convince each other with such ease and simplicity that it was surprising. The two, Michelle and Raymond, were both disciples of Gadra and friends of Shinji. They were frantically tested for strength at the 59th level, and the scarier one was Michelle. There was also no sign of the spirit being manipulated, and it seemed that their purpose for coming this time was to save Gadra and Shinji. Both seemed trustworthy, and it's really great to be partners in earnest. Let's look at the situation first, and then compare them to Shinji and let these two people get promoted. Things were going well up to the 60th floor, then come to the 70th floor. It is hilly and there are about 100 people gathered together. At first it all seemed a bit fuzzy, but now that the day had passed, they had all calmed down. Above the hills there was a place of great visibility, where these men camped, and several scouts were sent to scout in various places. They don't seem to be planning to act right away and feel very deliberate. It should be said that the warriors are outstanding in the various units. Thought they'd panic even more. No, that's the way it should be. They crafted a clear chain of command from the beginning, even if the commander wasn't there. If the chain of command is chaotic, how can operational operations be carried out? Someone must be found to lead. Are we okay here? Of course. Even without me, there is the Green Legion, and underneath Green Legion, there are excellent talents standing by. Tactical theory is also a must for the Kurenai, and everyone can be a commander. That's good. What do you think their purpose is? Their purpose must have been to find out if there were any survivors on the other floors. That's on their bad luck. The rest of the floor is a different story, and this one leaves no trace. Hearing that, I also understood. I know there are no survivors on the Imperial side, but one of their purposes is to find companions. Shall we let Adelman attack? When I said so, Xian nodded vigorously along with me. It looked as if she was feeling very bored and she herself was eager to strike out. Even so, as long as there were still enemies left in the maze, she was responsible for protecting me. That's right. There's no way to get any great information if you keep watching. It seems that Xian wasn't the only one who was looking forward to fighting. Adelman had also been preparing his army to meet the Imperial army early on. Adelman and the others continued their winning streak, seemingly intent on taking advantage of the situation to win even the final battle. Then go for it. Yes, the encouragement I gave became a signal for war. Adelman and then rest came in force and opened the closed door and struck at it. Then an hour passed. A startling sight appeared before his eyes. There were only 3 survivors left on the Imperial side. It's just that the only ones who have survived on our side are also Adelman, Albert and the Necromancer Dragon. It's now a 3-on-3 showdown. The other remaining nearly 100 people were all killed along with the necromantic army, and these guys couldn't wait for reinforcements. Wait 3 hours before the army of the dead comes back to life, and when I think about it, I'll be able to determine the winner. However, kufufufufu, interesting people have emerged. I'd like to fight them too. Such a powerful warrior was mixed up in the enemy army, and there were 3 others. One was a gentle-looking male swordsman. The opponent is fighting Albert. The other person is the Wizard of Beauty. In a magical showdown with Adelman, there was also a tall warrior of stature. The power of one man alone held the Necromancer Dragon. That swordsman is so strong that he's intimidating. I never thought he'd be on equal footing with Albert. The battle between Albert and the man, both of them used a rare divine skill. Kufufufufu. In the face of an opponent of that level, the magic was surprisingly at the disadvantage. That said, Diablo, regardless of the holy and magical attributes, that armor can resist all magic. It's no wonder it's working against Adelman. What do you think? The strength of the theory is that Albert is better. But he is poorly equipped and should lose this battle. Adelman is too eager to get ahead of himself. If he had been calm, he would have won by now, and there was no way to deal a fatal blow to his opponent. If Albert is defeated at this time, they will be defeated in one fell swoop. They can only win. How can they be defeated? Benimaru and Diablo's views are very similar. They both think that Adelman and the rest will lose. In contrast, Xian just thought that one spirit could conquer all. So they might lose, huh? That doesn't seem good. Anyway, even if Adelman and the others lose, there are still 10 others on this side. And I won't lose if I'm on the field, so it should be fine. Of course, I will also defeat the others, so rest assured, Lord Rimuru. Lord Rimuru, you needn't worry. The 10 lords of the labyrinth also have Lord Veldora's apprentice, Zijin, at their head. As long as he sits, there's no need to even bother Lord Veldora. It's rare for Diablo to compliment someone. That should make it okay, which reassures me a bit. Before you guys die, let me give you a name. My name is Krishna, a knight of the Empire, 17th in the Imperial Order of the Imperial Kaiser's Guard. I am Raha, the 94th in line. 35th in line, Basin. Ah, is it really the Imperial Emperor's Knights of the Guard? I heard about it from Gadra's side, and it looks like the members inside are really good. These aside, the point is who wins and who loses. Krishna's sword slashes Albert's grudge sword, curse sword. Repeated chops gradually accumulate damage to the opponent's weapon, crushing it with the last breath. Just like that, the loss of the weapon defeated Albert. Once the forward was lost, Adelman was momentarily at the disadvantage. The battle ended when the last 3 launched simultaneous attacks to wipe out the Necromancer. As it turned out, things went exactly as Benimaru and Diablo had expected. 2 keys were also snatched by people, but there was nothing that could be done about it. So, in the face of 3 people like Krishna, we suffered a bitter defeat. Anyway, it's all over, just reflected on it afterwards. Now to go to the next stage. The big screen illuminates the battle situation on the 79th floor and the battle situation on the 90th floor. Kumara's reaction was too intense. Since the bearded man was the one she wanted her revenge on, it was no wonder she was particularly keen. That being said, Apito is now so strong that she is on a par with Hinata, who has no use for magic. To be able to fight a tie with such an Apito would mean that the man who looked like a commander was also very powerful. I wonder who wins and who loses in the end. We all watched nervously, our eyes firmly on the big screen.